Order and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Out of Indianapolis.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, need to have roll call, please.
Mike Nichols.
Here.
Larry Mosier. Robert Joe Stevens.
Here.
Isaac Chavez.
Here.
Joseph Bookwalter.
Here.
Chris Salba.
Here.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is, I think we have two sets of minutes, the August 28th and the September 25th, correct? And it looks like we have the right four people here to adopt the August 28th, 24, because that would have been Mike, Joe, Isaac, and Joseph Bookwalter.
All motion to approve minutes from August 28th.
Second.
Okay, roll call on the August 28th minutes, please.
Mike Nichols.
Aye.
Larry Mosier. Joe Stevens.
Yep.
Isaac Chavez.
Aye.
Joseph Bookwalter.
Aye.
And Chris Salba.
Abstain.
And then we have the September 25th minutes, and looks like
Only I missed.
only Isaac missed, so we definitely have enough to consider. Look, we have a motion, please, on the minutes.
Motion to accept the minutes from September 25th, 2024.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mike Nichols.
Aye.
Larry Mosier. Joe Stevens.
Aye.
Isaac Chavez.
Aye.
Joseph Bookwalter.
Aye.
Chris Salba.
Aye.
And I vote aye, too, so.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Mark. Mills.
Did you vote aye for everything so far, Mark?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
my
yeah, for the record, I would, except for the August 28th minutes, I could not,
You abstained.
I had to abstain for that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Otherwise, we probably would have adopted them at the last meeting. Okay, the next item is a public hearing, CPC 2024-09, City of Frankfurt, 1610 South Jackson Street, rezone from B residential back to general business. Turn it over to Don for,
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Plan Commission. We're going to pull this docket from the agenda tonight. Had a great conversation with President Mark Mills over the phone. He made a great point in the fact that this is a perfect example of why the BZA has the use variance. A use variance, we can tie things down a little bit, and the use variance only stays with the property owner versus us changing the back property into a general business district and then not being able to have control once the property owner leaves. Anything that could go in general business would be able to go there. I normally don't like using use variance, but Mark was truly right that if there was ever a time to use a use variance, this would be the time to do it. And so we're not going to have this rezone for 1610 South Jackson Street. We're pulling it, and we're going to take it to the BZA in December.
you want us to table it, or are they withdrawing it? I'd probably recommend to table it, because if for some reason they want to bring it back pending the use variance, we could, they wouldn't have to refile it. It's just a thought.
Is that what you?
Yeah, I mean, if the use variance doesn't go the way that they want and they want to try for a rezone, I mean, they could do either option. So I would recommend that we do a motion to table, and then after the BZA hears this, if a use variance is granted, then we could withdraw it at that time.
So since they haven't withdrawn it, we need to vote on a motion to table to a future meeting pending the use variance.
I'll make
this
motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call to table.
Mark Mills.
Yes.
Mike Nichols.
Aye.
Larry Mosier.
Aye.
Joe Stevens.
Aye.
Joseph Bookwalter.
Aye.
Chris Salba.
Aye.
Isaac Chavez.
Aye.
Okay, so it's tabled to a future meeting. And the reason for the use variance is that the BZAs can put conditions on, whereas plan commissions really can't on rezoning. And then the BZA can also grant final approval that evening instead of having to go to city council. So those are kind of the differences. Of course, it goes to the BZA, not the plan commission, unless we comes back to us. And it's not uncommon to do it, kind of do it that way. And so Frankfurt can do use variances, which is sometimes it's the right tool at times. You got to use it guardedly and cautiously, and so because that probably would have been my motion had we had the hearing tonight. So anyway, okay, we have one other business tonight, and that's
A quick question though, this is like an automatic recommendation for the BZA. We don't need to motion anything else, correct? Just to table it?
Now, just now table it.
Okay.
We'll just take it before the BZA and see what they want to do with it.
All right, thank you.
okay. And then the second item is an older item which we've had before us several times over the last couple of years. It's CPC 2024-R08 Rissis Edition, Section 7 Secondary Plat.
Mr. President, member of the Plan Commission, before we get into this, I want to give a lot of you who are unfamiliar with it the history of this subdivision and some of the challenges and the length of it that we've had. When this first started, it was being filed under the 67 ordinances. There wasn't construction plans that were required. A lot of things that are required now were not back then. So it kind of makes some challenges in trying to get to the secondary here on this. Also, this has been a subdivision that as we move forward, we took step backwards in trying to get resolved, and there was some challenges outside of just the subdivision itself. And so I want to kind of give you where the subdivision is right now. Right now, all the utilities are in place. Electric, water, storm sewer, and sanitary sewers. I can give you the fact that on each lot, there are, the electric is to each lot, and, well, at least the outlets to them are there, and so is the water to each lot, and the sewer is there also. So the lots are ready to be built upon, but we're going to talk about why that we're not there yet. I do want to talk about what is being done and the direction that we're trying to get to as we try to get this secondary passed. And it may be that we're not going to be allowed to, but I want to have the conversation. So right now where we are is that we finished getting the electrical run, as I said, to all the pads and to all the lots. The thing that they're working on now is the preparation for putting in the street. The street is going to be, we're going to bring the engineer back. They're going to rechart the street to make sure that it's in the proper position. They've got some questions about it. So we're going to see about that. On the storm sewers, a very slight challenge with it, and that is as a storm sewer comes from the south and gets towards Primrose Lane, it kind of flattens out a little bit. And to fix that, they would have had to remove everything from the last box to the pond where this stormwater goes to. So we had a large discussion out there on Friday about it, and what they've done is they've put in a couple of larger boxes, deeper, I should say, and when Rocky Jr. put the storm sewer in, he put in a 25-inch storm sewer line, which is a lot bigger than necessary, but we're really glad that he did do that. And the reason for that is, on a normal rainfall, as this water falls into the inlet, where it flattens out, the water is going to stay to the bottom of this box and will only start to remove itself once it gets to a certain height. And with the 25-inch line that's in there and the deep box, it should be able to hold an average rainfall and not be left out on the street. You wouldn't even notice that there was any type of a challenge with it. But when you get into a major rainfall, a 100-year flood fall, then there could be some challenges with that, or will be some challenges with that. But in a 100-year rainfall, you're going to have a lot of challenges with a lot of things. So that was the first thing, but we feel like we've got it resolved, which now continued the march towards getting the street in. So then what happened? So what happened next was the sanitary sewers that are out there, some of the tops were a little too high. So one of the tops that they're doing, when I say tops, inlets, they can put a smaller cap on it, and that will take it down to the proper level for the asphalt. And then the one further south may be an inch taller. So they're looking to figure out if they can lower that one also a little bit, and how they're going to form the one on putting the lower top in is they're going to bring in a little more gravel, and then what they'll do is from the lid, they'll kind of roll it down. You won't notice it, so that the water will still then roll to the side and everything will be just fine. So I'm waiting for any kind of conversation on the sanitary sewer to the farther south, but they feel pretty confident that they're going to be able to fix that one also. So what's that leave? That leaves putting the street in, and that is not going to be completed. So now I'm going to tell you that per the UDO, approved to the secondary approval, this is in number 4. We're in section C, and we're in 70106, major and minor subdivisions. So in number 4, it reads, prior to secondary approval, all streets and other required improvements must be constructed or completed as required according to the approved construction plans. Well, we don't have construction plans. We didn't have to have construction plans. Since improvements shall not be considered complete until they are certified as complete in accordance with the provide specifications and this ordinance by certifying professional engineer or land surveyor who has been approved by the Board of Public Works and Safety and the Plan Commission. As alternative, a performance guarantee furnished by the subdivider may be filed with the secondary plot application in a manner specified by UDO section 701.07. I believe that when this thing was all put together, it was not bonded. There was no requirements. The Plan Commission didn't require them to bond. If we would have done that, or if that would have been completed, then we could go ahead and do the secondary with no problems, because the bond money would then be in place to offset anything that hasn't been completed. But since it wasn't required, I don't know if it's necessary to be required now. Here's what I want to find out and see if it can be approved in this manner. Everything that is required for the secondary is on this, everything that is required. The only thing that is not is that the street has not been put in. It's not to the finished grade. And so what I would like to have is to say, hey, we're willing to pass the secondary so that I don't have to come back to this. We're not going to sign anything. I am, as an administrator, won't sign this, nor will I take it before the Board of Works for their approval until the street gets finished. That way it kind of acts as the bonding process of not having a bond. And if in a year's time nothing is completed and nothing is done, all this goes away. And but we are so close to being finished, and I feel so confident. E&B Paving out of Kokomo was out there doing the work today and when they can, and we're so close to the street being completed and finished. They actually thought they were going to get it graded today, but some complications come up in trying to get that last box set. And so I'm here saying the intent when we put this together was we were going to be finished. That was our intent, but it didn't work out because every step forward was 2 steps backwards, and it was already on the schedule. So now I'm coming to you to say, hey, can this be approved, being the fact that all the requirements for secondary approval is on our secondary drawings. Can it be approved and no signatures be made until the street gets put in, so that once it gets the street put in, it can be recorded versus having to wait to get it secondary approval and then get it recorded. So that's my question to you all.
How long are they saying until the streets are done? Because that's kind of the major item you need done before you grant. Secondary approval means you can record it and sell lots.
Right. That's why I don't want to sign anything, because then they can't record it.
But,
I'll ask Charna about.
I mean, where do we stand in the process? What was our last motion on this? Because I know we've had.
The emotion was to give them till December to get to the finish grade, get to the finish line.
Yeah, in order to bring the secondary plat. So the motion was we give them until December to finish everything and get the secondary plat in front of the board.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's the timeline look like on the paving?
Charna, can you give us that information?
He said it would take 7 to 10 days. And tomorrow, but obviously with the rain, they can't. We've had a couple of times when it's rained so much, it's been too muddy to actually get their equipment.
So once they get, just to clarify, so once they do have dry enough weather, it will take about 2 weeks to complete the pavement?
Probably less than that,
Okay,
less, 2 weeks or less.
okay.
Could we not have a meeting in December, though? I'd be more open to that, because streets are such a major thing, and we stuck to the ordinance on the other subdivision just recently.
We do want to try to have a planned commission meeting not on our date because it's on Christmas. I can't imagine too many people being here, but I'll have it on Christmas if you decide that'd be a good time.
Christmas Eve meeting.
We would like to have it prior to Christmas, like the week before, if we can get that accomplished. And at that meeting, I'm hoping to be able to bring amendments to the comprehensive plan, the 2035 comprehensive plan. That got finished up today, and I sent it on to Liz to get it formatted into the 2035 format, because she has that. The utilities got finished through the thankfulness of Eric Woods and Alicia, who put the finished touches to it. And so I've got all that information changed and into the hands of Liz.
So you made that change that I recommended?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
super.
So that will be coming before you. I'm trying to think of anything else. Miranda, can you think of, I think that was the only thing at one time. And then if this doesn't come today, then this can come before you in that December. Do we have to, if we table this, we don't have to advertise it again, do we? If we table it?
I don't think we would need to advertise it because we would just,
Oh, it's a secondary. We don't
Well,
advertise.
Yeah, so we-
it would be a special meeting, so we would have to.
well, we'd advertise the meeting, but we wouldn't have to advertise this particular issue.
Okay.
Yeah,
Neighbors would not have to be notified.
Right.
Just-
Okay.
But we should probably advise the meeting night now, and make sure we're gonna get people around on the night. of the
I did
meeting.
ask Andrea about the week before Christmas, and they're not doing anything in this room that day, which would be,
18th.
yeah, December 18th.
At what time?
Our normal time.
5:30.
Mhm.
I myself would feel more comfortable just sticking with the plan, and, you know, if December 11th would work better for them, you know, meet them halfway or something, because you could always advertise these other.
If we're gonna move it, I'm gonna be safe than to be on the 11th and we still not quite finished because maybe the weather kept that from happening. Maybe the 18th will give us a better time.
Is there a reason why they just can't do a short-term bond? I mean, or performance guarantee? It seems like it would not cost that much just for a street of that length, if they really want to get over the finish line, where they could record it and sell lots. I mean, because it's a dangerous precedent just to wiggle that
is it
far.
detrimental to the project to wait 3 weeks? I mean, is that something that's a problem?
It probably isn't. I don't see it to be a problem. Do you have a problem? Okay.
Could you explain what that would be?
To be able to put the lots up for sale and to get a builder in there, we really need to do it before the first of the year. They're interested in that, but if they have to wait until the first of the year, they may not be back with so many different things that have had to have repairs on it. We have to wait, they find something that's wrong, they have to wait for the engineer to go out there and reshoot stuff. Then the road people have to go back out there and make their decisions, they have to call somebody so they can get a repair piece. And That's why it took so long to actually start getting that put in. All of that is finished. Have the land available.
And so we really, in a way, can't allow that by the ordinance. It's kind of a catch-22 unless it is either a performance guarantee, so you can sell them as they're ready to build.
Would it be possible to, would it work better? Because realistically, you're not going to be able to sell the lots until the road is done anyway, because it wouldn't be signed, is what Don has proposed. Would it be possible to do a special meeting? Since we don't have to do notice for this, we could do a 48-hour special meeting, so when the road is done, then we could get it on the calendar as soon as possible, which would then alleviate both concerns from the board and also Charna's concerns. That, because realistically, that would only extend or delay by about 48 hours or maybe a weekend plus 48 hours. But then that way we would be following the ordinance, but we also wouldn't be delaying it until the 18th.
It's a
I
great
think
option.
you've all been in favor of getting this to the finish line, but it's just only so far you can push the ordinance, and the performance guarantee is there to allow that mechanism.
Right. I definitely agree with Mark that we're setting a precedence by not following the ordinance, and the whole purpose of the UDO was to standardize this process and provide a procedure that people are required to follow. And I feel like this would be a good way to kind of meet in the middle and accommodate both goals, as long as we could get a special meeting and get a quorum. So if the board was willing to do that, I think that's a very viable option.
And being a subdivision, as long as they meet standards, as long as Don can say all standards are met, including the street end to standards,
Right.
we have to approve it.
Correct.
So as far as selling it, I mean, you're guaranteed approval as long as he
it's-
can say all standards are met.
When we lined this up for this meeting, this was probably October. And we thought, we can get there, because at that time, once the electricity got in, we were told that all the utilities were okay, everything was okay. And then once the guys got in there and started looking, everything wasn't quite okay. And so it was one thing after another. So when we lined this up, we felt for sure that we would be through the finish line and ready to go when this came before you. So I told the gang, I'll do the best I can to try to push this through. But I wanted to be upfront and honest with everybody. I mean, that's what I try to be. And I knew that it was going to be a challenge because the street had to be completed. I was trying to use hey, I'll not sign it until the streets get in. But I truly understand, and I totally agree with that. And what we'll do is we'll keep close tabs of how this is going to be going together. Once for sure they get the gravel down, or the compacted base, and the asphalt started, then we'll start making arrangements. If it means that we can go earlier, we may try to go earlier, and then that will be our December meeting. But if it doesn't look like we can meet the same day of maybe the BZA meeting like we are doing today, then we'll look for the 18th.
Yeah, if you need to have two meetings, I mean, that's not unheard of.
Yeah.
I know it's
Well,
a busy time, but.
And we could limit the special meeting to solely deal with this issue, and it wouldn't take more than 15 minutes to do that. So it would just be a matter of getting folks in here for a 15-minute meeting, because you don't have discretion. If it does meet all the standards, you have to approve it. So
So Don, you're saying for the roads to be in, they have to be asphalted?
Yeah, either, that'd be a hard surface, it'd be either asphalt or concreted. And there's specifications on what they have to do to get that preparation ready.
Yeah, asphalt's hard to work with when it gets cold, you know. I know.
Well, see, that's the other thing that we were pushing is how much longer will they be open to be able to get to the finish line itself? And E&B pretty much feels like they have the ability to control that because they have some type of a plant themselves that they have. So they were trying to push it to the finish line, and today was the finish line, and we thought we could be there. I can tell you that their plan is They were going to cut the street, as I said today. Their grader had some mechanical problems with it, so they couldn't get it used. Then they decided that they would love to have the engineer come back and restake it to make sure that the stakes were proper and sitting in the right spot. And then the grading, then it'll be the gravel that's necessary or the stone that's necessary for a base, and then the asphalt base. And all that is dictated through the ordinance on how they put that street in. Once they get the base in, then of course the curbs go on, and the curbs only have to be dry for maybe a day or 2 days, hard enough to be able then to get in to put the asphalt down. And so that's why it won't take them very long to get the street put in.
So if the board is agreeable to the idea of having a special meeting, what we would probably want to do, we gave them an extension through November. So we'd want to give them maybe an extension through December so that they would have an opportunity to get that completed, and then we could hear the secondary plat at a special meeting if appropriate. But we'd want to give them that extra month of extension because presently they only had through November.
I would make it even through the last day of December. You know,
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Okay, hang on. So that was to extend it through December 31st?
Yes.
Okay. Mark Mills,
Yes.
Mike Nichols,
Aye.
Larry Mosier, Joe Stevens,
Aye.
Isaac Chavez,
Aye.
Joseph Bookwalter,
Aye.
Chris Alva.
I apologize. It's so close. I apologize for getting you out this evening. I thought that maybe we could get this through, but I appreciate all your efforts and thank you for giving us your time this
It'd be
evening.
nice to see it done. I mean, after all these years.
We need the 13 lots.
Everyone's excited. I mean, everyone's rooting for this to happen. It's
Yeah.
just-
So once the asphalt is completed, Dawn, and even if it's maybe a couple of days out, since we have to give the 48-hour notice, you can just reach out to everyone and we can try and find a time. And then we just got to make sure that we publish or we notify the press and we post it.
So even though they do a once a week paper, it just
We don't
all
have
we
to
do is
publish
just
it.
notify them.
Yeah, we just have to send an email to the press like we for a special meeting.
Okay.
And then and Carol, well, you probably know how to do that, but if not, Carol, yeah, so you're fine. So we just have to notify the press. We don't have to publish it.
Okay.
And then we just have to post it on the door and then 48 hours, not including weekends and holidays.
Just to clarify, we have regular meeting 12:11, special meeting is 12:18. Is that correct?
If we have a special meeting in December, it'll be your December meeting. We won't.
Okay,
do-
okay, that's what I was trying to
Oh, so-
clarify.
Me too. That's, I mean, for
Yeah.
me, I don't mind just coming to one quick one for this and
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that.
So is the, to Isaac's point, are you moving the normal meeting to the 11th or to the 18th if we are having a different meeting than a special meeting?
If we need to have it, we'll move it to the 18th.
The 18th, okay.
Do we have at least
Okay,
four
so
people
12/18.
confirmed for that 18th?
Yeah, you can.
At least four for that night then?
7th and 18th.
No 11.
No 11.
Okay.
We'll do the special meeting as needed. So it could be,
For the BZA, you can.
Now, it could even be at the end of November.
You gonna be out of town?
No, not for a while.
yeah.
No, I was talking about Josie. You're gonna be gone?
It's too cold to motorcycle.
No, hey, no, one thing you might do though is whenever they bring it back, be sure either the Board of Works or the street department has approved what they actually have built. I mean, I feel more comfortable saying, yeah, it's been not only built, but someone who knows can say for certainty it meets city ordinance standards.
And that could occur
For me.
if we get the rain out and they get in there and get started because of the Board of Works has that last
Yeah,
meeting.
they have the second meeting in November and then
November, so
yeah.
we may be able to get that in there if we get that
You know,
all
at least
taken
someone with
care of.
authority can say, yeah, it's been built, yeah, right.
If we had to, you probably could get them to do a special meeting too.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
That's all that I have, sir.
Do we have any other business? None from you. Any member have anything you'd like to bring up?
Wish them the best of luck.
Yeah.
And we're right there. Yeah.
Well, we could always then have a motion for adjournment if anybody wants to go home.
Second.
Like, how about voice vote?